Staying positive will help you overcome the negative, and it will also keep you surging forward. Welcome as we talk about being resilient in episode number 56 of the Surging Forward podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Surging Forward broadcast, where we're helping you to have a positive view in a negative world. My name is David Valentine, and I'm here to help you see the value in the job you do and how you can keep surging forward. Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Surging Forward podcast. It's hard to believe how fast these weeks go by. And, as I'm getting things set up to go back to class and, start our new year for the apprenticeship program, I was thinking about a couple things that, what is it that keeps us moving forward? We all have adversity in our lives. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about a word that a lot of people don't use all the time, but it is very important for you in your career, no matter what you want to succeed in, whether it's the trades, whether it's in a career at a store, or even if you're working at 7-Eleven or wherever else you're working at. In order for you to succeed, you're going to have the term, what we call the term resilience. So we're going to be talking about that in a moment. But first, I want to say welcome to anybody that's listening to this for the first time. You've come to a great show. This is a place where you can take that first step to help you to keep surging forward. You see, we're all in this same boat together to try to encourage one another. I am no better than anyone out there, and, there's probably a lot of people out there better than me, but that's what we always look forward to. We're always looking to try to better ourselves. And so if you're listening to this for the first time, welcome. You're taking that first step. And feel free to subscribe. If you're not subscribed to this, you can get a new episode every week. We put this out diligently every week, just as a means of motivation for those of you that work in the trades, work in the storefronts, work in any kind of career that you're working at. Mostly for the trades, though, because that's what I am. My background is as an electrician, and I've worked my way up from project manager to consulting to instructing, and I still do everything in between. And yes, including getting up in an attic every so often, but that's only for my real close friends. So don't email me and ask me to go up in attics anymore. My days of those are done, but again, I've surged forward, but for those of you guys that are still working, hey, it's a tough job, but it's a very important job. And for those of us that are in the field, we have to deal with a lot of adversity. And so this is why this is a great episode, is we're going to be talking about the different things that shape us and cause us to react sometimes in a negative way because of something else. So stay tuned. I think you're really going to enjoy this episode. I also want to say, for those of you that, are looking into going into the contracting business, or you want to start your own business, hey, we're going to be looking at some leadership courses coming up soon. So, I do have some courses online right now that are set up and they're good nationwide. A lot of states require that you take a course for, before you can go into business for yourself or be a contractor. We have those courses available for you online at www.surgingforward.com. And we have a lot of your code update courses for the various trades, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical. So those of you that have to get CEUs to keep your license renewed, those are very important to stay up to date. And so we have those courses available to you also. So, feel free to go check out the website and take a look. And also, if you'd like, check me out on Facebook. If you want to leave a comment, I've had a couple people been leaving me comments here and there, and I just want to say thank you because that kind of gives me an encouragement. So I know kind of the direction of, who do I need to address or what do I need to talk about this week? But this topic here is really exciting because it kind of came to me from actually a friend of mine as we were talking, asking questions about what drives us to keep moving forward or surging forward, I should say, and just not give up. So let's dive right into it. The term resilience, it's not a word that we use very often, but if you go on Google, just simply Google the term resilience, which is what I did, or resiliency. Basically what it means, it's the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and toughness. Wow. And for those of you in the trade, it also means the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape, or the elasticity. Oh wow, I said that very well. I think I chopped that word up. But it's being able to spring back and recover from being stretched out of shape. And so when we go through that tough situation, is it important to have that ability? Well, that's what affects our whole careers. You see, if you listen to any of the past episodes I've talked about, your success. I mean, you can listen to all my podcasts. You can listen to a ton of other great podcasts out there. You can read all the books out there you want to read. But if you don't make the right choices, you're never going to change. You see, my friends, there's an old adage also, definition of insanity. We all know what that is. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Well, if you do the same thing over and over, you're going to keep getting the same results. So being resilient, that is a trait that we all are going to have. We live in such a society now where people get offended over every little thing. And so, it's important, yes, to respect each other's views. But what ends up happening is you walk into a 7-Eleven store and it's early in the morning and you go get your cup of coffee, as we all do. You walk in the morning, you get your cup of coffee. You come out of the 7-Eleven, you're walking back towards your truck, and all of a sudden somebody just plows right into you, and the coffee goes everywhere. It's all over you. And, I've had this happen to me. It's like, come on, seriously? And, the guy doesn't even offer to buy you another coffee. He doesn't even say, excuse me. He just plows right by. And so, okay, you make the choice. I'm not going to make a big deal about it. Fine. I'll just get me another cup of coffee. You get back in your truck. You're driving now and traffic's all backed up. And, now you're in a really ticked off mood because, you spill coffee all over you. You're still wet. You get into traffic and people are just driving like a bunch of idiots. And, I'm just being real here. And by the time you get to work, you're just so ticked off that now your whole day is shot. And then your foreman comes up and he asks you to do something and you just bite his head off like there's no tomorrow. And he just steps back and go, my God, what is going on with you today? Well, who's at fault here? Okay. Your foreman just asked you to do something. He has no idea about your bad morning, but you just snapped at him like there's no tomorrow. My friends, I've done it. I've been there and I've had it done to me also. The problem is even though I've had it done to me, a lot of times it tends to cause me to react in the same way. I'll be like, whoa, wait a minute, dude, hold on. You need to do what I tell you to do and we're going to have a bad day. Well, then he pipes back because he's totally upset and, well, forget it. I'm just going to walk off the job. Well, that's not the way to do it. That's not being resilient. We cannot let actions that happen at a prior location or even at a prior time affect what's happening right now. You see, in order for us to keep surging forward, we need to overcome that. Everything we do out in the field, on our job site, at the desk, driving your vehicle, or even coming home and saying hello to your better half or to your mom or to your dad or whoever the case may be, is all based on a choice. When you've had that totally bad day and things have just gone, let's face it, the hell in a handbasket. It's just wasted. Done. And you walk home and you walk into your house and your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever the case may be walks in and says, "Hey, how you doing?" And you just lay into them like there's no tomorrow. What have you done? Have you created a positive attitude? Seriously, you really don't really care about any kind of positive attitude. All you care is that you're aggravated and ticked off at the time, and, you just need somebody to vent to. Well, my friends, that's a negative choice that you've made now, and you're in a totally different situation to where you might have just missed out on an opportunity. Maybe your spouse or your best friend or your whoever you live with, maybe they had something important to say. Maybe they were going to give some kind of gratitude. Now you've affected their life. In the morning when you went to work and you just bit your head off your foreman, he very well could have been coming up and saying, "Hey, you've been doing such a great job. I'm going to put you in this position right now." You may never know what you could have blown just by having that negative outburst on somebody that didn't have anything to do with the situation that built up. So, you see, we need to have, in order to be anywhere, any type of a leader, or even to help yourself surge forward, maybe you don't want to be a leader, but maybe you want to be successful. A lot of people, they may not want to be in a leadership position because maybe they don't want to deal with people. But to be successful doesn't mean you have to be over top of everybody. You can just have your good career. But you still need to have the ability to recover from difficulties very quickly. Because when something happens in this time frame, 5 minutes later, you're in a total different situation. You don't want to let the negativity from one situation bleed over to another. And my friends, I want to tell you something. I'm preaching to myself also because I am not the best at this myself. It's been a constant work in progress, probably for about the past 10, 15 years. Now, granted, I'm getting a whole lot better. But I'm going to tell you what, I used to be one of those guys that would fly off the handle. All you had to do was say the wrong word, and you would have me just going off and, get on my soapbox, and I would just tell you like it really was. Well, you know what? I learned at a very young age that really didn't get me a big following. What it did was say, okay, when people get around this guy, they better walk around like eggshells. Or like eggshells. No, they better walk on eggshells. And they better walk very carefully, otherwise Dave's just going to fly off on the handle. So through mentorship and through reading a lot of books and learning, I've changed a lot. And I want to tell you, there's a lot of things that happen on my job site day to day that just totally offend me. But I address the exact situation. I address the situation that has offended me, but I don't let it carry on to someone else that has no idea what the events were. Because it's not really fair to the other individual. And, a lot of us have been on the other side of that boat too, where you get the person that just chews you out for no reason, whether it's your boss. And that's a tough thing because, here you just happen to walk up on a situation. Maybe you're excited about a job that you did or very proud of something, and your boss just comes in and tears it apart. How do you feel? It's like, wow, who got him so upset? Well, again, it's, you don't want to be in that situation. So you want to learn from that and not put others that you work around in that same situation. So being resilient is a very important trait. And, I think I might add this. I know I talked about, for surging forward, what does that mean? And, I might change one of my R factors to that. Because it's very interesting. We talk about, I talked about what surging forward stood for in some of the beginning podcasts. But being resilient is very important as far as how you carry yourself and how other people see you. Now, it doesn't mean you're going out to please everybody. Oh, don't even think about that because, first of all, I try to be very honest on this show. You are not going to please everybody. If you attempt to please everybody, you're not going to please anybody. That's just the way it is. As the old country song goes, you got to stand for something or you're going to fall for everything. So you can have your values and your set things of what you're into, but always be willing to listen to the other side. And sometimes you just got to agree to disagree. And that's really the crux of what I'm trying to get at. You don't want to let other people determine your success. When you go into that 7-Eleven in the morning and that person spills coffee on you and they cause you a promotion at your job, why should somebody you don't even know start costing you money in your career or start costing you, your job? You get to work in a totally bad mood and you start flying off the handle at everybody and you get in a fight on the job site. Now you've lost your job over something stupid. My friends, it happens all the time. I've seen it. I have counseled people day in and day out over that. I have actually, when I was a foreman, I would take people, and even as a project manager, I see certain situations, I'm like, what in the world's going on? And I pull the guy, into my trailer and I talk with him and I say, hey, what is going on? And that's exactly what it is. Well, it started out by this last night. I got in a fight with my girlfriend and then this and then this and then this and then this. Well, you need to get off that train, my friends, because that train is going downhill fast. You need to stop that train and jump off, because each one of us has the choice of how we're going to react in a particular situation that we're in. You cannot, and you should not, and don't ever allow a situation from 10 to 15 minutes ago that was negative influence the situation you're in right now. Now, we're all guilty of it one way or another. We all get in bad moods, and I understand that, and I do the same thing. But if you keep it conscious in your mind about that, it will happen less and less. And you'll start seeing, you ever see that guy on the job, and I'm sure we've all seen him, where it doesn't look like anything gets to him, and you're like, wow. And he's a hard-working guy, and he just rolls off, and, we call it rolling off the feather. Water rolls off him like a duck, No matter what happens, it just rolls off. Man, he must not have any problems. Well, my friends, I can tell you on this, that's probably furthest from the truth. If you really sat down and talked to that individual, you might find out that he has more problems and more issues going on than we can even fathom or understand. But he's made a choice not to let outside influences determine what his success is going to be. You see, and that's a positive choice, because then he can still go out with a smile, because every second we have that's ahead of us, it's an opportunity to make a change. Every second behind us are things that we cannot change. It's done. It's finished. We said a bad word. We said something that offended somebody. The only thing we can do is that once we realize we sent somebody that offended them, we can go back and apologize. Just because you apologize for offending somebody, guys and women and, whoever's listening to this, just because you apologize is not an admission of wrong. There's nothing wrong with apologizing, even with that. None of us want to purposely go out and offend somebody. And, there's many times I find out later on that I might have offended somebody or got them all upset. And I look and say, what was it I said? And what comes out of their mouth is what they think I said is totally different. And I'm like, my goodness, man, you heard that totally wrong. Let me explain myself. This is what I feel about this particular situation, and this is how I feel. Now, when somebody does that to you, you need to take them for their word and accept the apology. Whether you think it's sincere or not, again, that's not up to you. You need to make the choice to say, okay, maybe I did read you wrong. That's where it comes into play for surging forward, my friends, and that is what is going to make us all be able to become good leaders when that time comes. Understanding people and those around you is what's going to create a group of people who are going to help you to keep surging forward. Like I say, I've always been honest with you guys. You can't surge forward by yourself. You cannot work alone. We all like to say, sometimes you hear the guy, oh, I'm the loner. In my day, growing up as the guy in the leather jacket, didn't need anybody, didn't have anybody, didn't want anybody. But watch the shows, watch all the stuff goes on. Everybody wants to have somebody. And everybody wants to be recognized. So, in order for you to be recognized, why don't you take the first step? Why don't you learn the resiliency? Start today start right now as you're listening and say, I'm not going to allow something that happened 5 minutes ago to affect my future for the rest of my life. Really something to think about. Well, again, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you have any comments on it or any stories or anything you want to share with us, we'd be more than happy to listen to it. And you never know, you might get on the podcast one day. And I got a couple great interviews coming up. I've got some people who are actually working and writing the code, and they do code update courses just like I do. They're going to be coming on the show, and I've got some people who have actually done their own inventions going to be coming up on the show one day. Wow, that's going to be pretty cool. Do you got an idea? Do you got something that you don't think you can get out? And something that might benefit, but not sure how to do it? Well, hey, we're going to be talking about that in some of the upcoming episodes here. So stay tuned. And if you need anything, look me up on Facebook there. Either look me up at Dave Valentine or look up Surging Forward. You can always tell me I'm the icon. I'm the guy with the microphone. And there's a lot of Dave Valentines out there, but you can pick mine out pretty good because mine says resistance is futile. So those of you that are electricians can get that. But hey, check out our website if you get a chance at www.surgingforward.com and share this podcast with a friend of yours. If you know somebody who is trying to learn how to keep surging forward, or if you want to be a leader and help somebody surge forward, share this podcast with them and drop us a comment on iTunes, and we'd appreciate that. So until next week, stay safe and keep surging forward. God bless, my friends. Y'all have a great week.